So I think for me it was really a matter of two things. It was theoretical and sort of research-based connection between me and my advisor, so the extent to which we share sort of core theoretical foundations of research. And the second thing was that we have some level of interpersonal connection and that we can talk somewhat comfortably, not only about research, but about sort of anything that's going on in graduate school.
When I got to Stanford, I thought the most important thing to me was the research project. It needed to be really, really cool, interesting, cutting-edge stuff. And it turned out, after being here for a little while and having different experiences, that the most important thing to me was actually the lab environment. And second to the lab environment was my interpersonal relationship with my advisor.
I first met my advisor in writing, and I met him and I really appreciated the care that he exhibited in conveying the ideas that he was conveying. And when I finally got to meet him in person, I was blown away by the congruency of that care that he had, not just with communicating ideas effectively, but also the way that he interacted with other people. There was a patience and an eloquence about that I found really magnetizing.
Have a few meetings, whether it's over coffee or in their office. I would say have a few data points to go off of. How do they react? How do your meetings build on each other? How do you have conversations about your interests, about their interests, about how those overlap? I would say having a little bit of data before making your decision.
There are three components to your life as a PhD student that really make or break it. It's your advisor, your research project, and your lab mates. And if you can get 2 out of 3 of those things, you are really well off and better than most students can find. If you only have one of those things, then maybe you should keep looking. And if you try to get all 3, you might be setting the bar a little too high.
Okay, so I really have 4 tips if you're thinking about ways to approach choosing an advisor. First one is that one of the most important parts of advisor selection is self-knowledge. And so I would recommend that you pursue a kind of self-assessment to see whether you want somebody who's more hands-on or more hands-off to help you live your best life and also do your best work in grad school. The second would be vibe. Pay attention to how potential advisors interact with faculty members, how they interact with students, and how they interact with staff. And then ask yourself, do our values align? Are our styles complementary? The third one is graduate teaching philosophy. So it might be helpful if you have a meeting with a potential advisor to ask what they enjoy most about teaching graduate students, and then also what their best experiences were as graduate students themselves with their advisors. What were the things that they got out of that experience that have stuck with them? And I think that the answers to those questions will be revealing about how compatible you might be. And the last point, the fourth point, which is perhaps the most important, is inspiration. So you should pay attention to those people in your department, potential advisors, who naturally inspire you to be your best professionally and also personally. Because at the end of this, you want to be investing not in a brand, but in a human that you want to learn from.